Shakur Stevenson versus Josh Padley is a fight that has quickly become the talk of the boxing world. On one hand, we had Shakur Stevenson, a fighter with a reputation for his sharp boxing IQ, speed, and defensive prowess. On the other hand, there was Josh Padley, a tough competitor with a powerful style that promised to give Stevenson a challenge. The question that many fans were asking going into the fight was whether this would be a brutal knockout or a display of superior boxing skills. By the time the final bell rang, it wasn't just a win, it was a statement. But was it a TKO finish, or was it something more, a true boxing masterclass? Well, if you're wondering, I've got you covered. Today, we're going to break down the fight, analyze each moment, and discuss why Shakur Stevenson's performance was nothing short of spectacular. From the opening bell, it was clear that Shakur Stevenson had a game plan. He entered the ring with a quiet confidence, almost as if he already knew the outcome. His movements were fluid, his jab was precise, and his ability to avoid Padley's power punches was on full display. But the thing about Shakur is that he doesn't just avoid punches, he makes his opponents pay for every mistake they make, and that's exactly what happened throughout this fight. Let's take a moment to appreciate Stevenson's defense. It wasn't just about slipping punches or blocking them. He was reading Padley's every move. For every jab that Padley threw, Stevenson had an answer. Whether it was a quick counter jab or a perfectly timed slip to the side, Shakur was always one step ahead. And what was impressive was his ability to maintain that level of focus and control throughout the entire fight. There's a reason why many consider him one of the most skilled boxers of his generation, and it was on full display here. Now, let's talk about Padley. Heading into the fight, many fans were expecting Padley to bring the heat. He's known for his knockout power, and he's never been one to shy away from a brawl. But against a fighter like Shakur Stevenson, that's a dangerous approach. Padley tried to impose his will early, coming forward with big punches and attempting to pressure Stevenson into a corner. But Shakur was having none of it. Every time Padley tried to land something significant, Stevenson was either slipping away or countering with a punch of his own. It wasn't that Padley wasn't trying, it's that Stevenson made everything look so easy. The first few rounds were essentially a clinic in defensive boxing. Padley would throw a punch, Stevenson would avoid it and then hit Padley with a crisp counter shot. It was like watching a chess match where every move had a purpose. And even when Padley did manage to land a couple of decent shots, they didn't seem to faze Stevenson. In fact, they only seemed to make him more determined to show that he was in complete control. By the middle rounds, it was becoming clear that Padley wasn't just struggling to land clean punches, he was struggling to keep up with the pace of the fight. Stevenson was dictating everything. He was controlling the distance, picking his shots, and using his footwork to stay out of trouble. Meanwhile, Padley was finding himself trapped in Stevenson's rhythm, unable to break free. At this point, it felt like Stevenson was no longer just fighting for the win. He was putting on a show, showcasing the very best of what boxing is all about. The fight had become less about who was winning and more about how Stevenson was winning. His ability to avoid punches, his precision in landing his counters, and his overall ring generalship were something to behold. It was clear that Stevenson wasn't just fighting for a TKO finish. He was on a mission to make Padley look like an amateur. And in many ways, he succeeded. Padley's toughness was admirable, but it was becoming increasingly clear that he just couldn't keep up with the masterclass that Shakur Stevenson was putting on. Then we reached the moment that everyone had been waiting for, the finish. The TKO that ended the fight wasn't just a result of Padley being outclassed in every department. It was the culmination of a perfectly executed game plan. Stevenson's timing was impeccable. He had already worn Padley down with his counters and his ability to avoid getting hit. And when the moment came, Stevenson capitalized on it like the true professional that he is. It was a clean, sharp shot that landed, and Padley didn't see it coming. That's the thing about Shakur Stevenson. He's so precise, so fast, that he can land a punch before you even know it's coming. When that final punch landed, Padley was on the canvas, and it was clear that the fight was over. The crowd erupted, and Stevenson's corner celebrated a well-earned victory. But as we look back on this fight, it's not just about the TKO finish, it's about the way Shakur Stevenson made it look so easy. He didn't just beat Padley. He made Padley look like he didn't belong in the ring with him. It was a performance that reminded everyone why Stevenson is considered one of the top fighters in the world today. But let's pause here for a second and ask ourselves, was this just a lucky punch? Or was this a display of boxing brilliance? It's easy to look at the knockout and say, wow, that was impressive, but the real beauty of this fight was in the way Stevenson set it up. Every punch he threw, every defensive move he made was part of a larger strategy. He didn't just throw punches randomly, he was always thinking, always anticipating what Padley would do next, and when the opportunity presented itself, he took it, finishing the fight in a way that left no doubt about who the better fighter was. That's what makes Shakur Stevenson so dangerous. He doesn't rely on brute force to win fights. He relies on his intelligence, his ability to read his opponent, and his understanding of the fundamentals of boxing. It's what separates him from so many other fighters. You can train for power, speed, and endurance, but what Shakur Stevenson has is something that can't be taught: a natural ability to control the fight. And that's exactly what we saw on display against Josh Padley. But here's the thing, Stevenson's victory wasn't just a testament to his skill, it was also a testament to his maturity as a fighter. There was a time when he might have been more aggressive, trying to knock his opponent out with every punch. But now, Stevenson has developed a level of patience and discipline that allows him to pick his shots and wait for the perfect opportunity. And when that moment came, he didn't hesitate. He finished the fight in style. So was it a TKO finish, or was it a boxing masterclass? The answer is both. The TKO was the result of a brilliant display of boxing. Stevenson didn't just win the fight, he made it look effortless. Every move he made, every punch he threw was part of a calculated strategy that left Padley with no chance. It wasn't just a knockout. It was a performance that showcased everything that makes Shakur Stevenson one of the best in the world today. If you're a boxing fan, this fight should serve as a reminder of just how special Shakur Stevenson is. His combination of skill, intelligence, and technique is something that we don't see often in the sport. And as we move forward, it'll be exciting to see where his career goes from here. But for now, we can all sit back and appreciate the masterpiece that he put on display against Josh Padley. It was a fight that proved, once again, why Shakur Stevenson is a force to be reckoned with. At the end of the day, boxing is about more than just power. It's about control, strategy, and intelligence. And Shakur Stevenson displayed all of that in this fight. He didn't just win, he showed the world why he's at the top of his game. So, what do you think? Was this just a lucky punch, or was it a true boxing clinic? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breakdowns and insights on the world of boxing, right here on Ring Ruler. We'll be back with more content, so stay tuned.